Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's Rafe Cal. We're gonna do a little more exploring this time, rather than jumping right back into politics. I went and was kind of poking around just to see if I was getting close to what the next chapter might be. I also found out that I'm not actually halfway through like I thought. I'm actually only a third of the way through. So this is shaping up to be easily my longest video series. I'll probably be doing some staggered other videos throughout it, kind of like I did where I took a Hollow Knight break. So first thing, I went and looked up, well, not went and looked up, I went and checked, and sure enough, I had some Elven Absinthe in one of my shops, so I bought that. I went in and basically am planning to go to Shania. So my thought is basically going to be head down to Gnarlkeep and head across to, I believe it was Silvershire. And then from there, we're actually going to go over here to where it asked us for an escort last time. Which is why we don't have Knock Knock with us. Because I feel weird, even if they're probably not going to say anything, bringing a goblin with me as part of my escort. So I switched him out for a more appropriate character. We will also be checking in with the kingdom on the way back here, if we need to. I'll check the kingdom menu at least. I figured this was a slightly different thing than just grinding out the rest of the time we had remaining, and it looks like you can actually go to Barnhold and meet with him and explore a little bit, so it's something. And it gets a lot more on the map, which is always nice. I think we're going to tell the truth. Okay. This is extensive and weird. Oh, okay. So she's saying that good and bad can both be in the same family. Okay. That's a lot of text. Yes. Okay, the Dance of Disharmony. The spear, and they want to get memories from it. That is neat. Oh wait, did I miss something? Spear fragment. Okay. Making sure there wasn't something I missed. Okay, so we're gonna pop into the kingdom menu just to see what's up. Okay, that's literally one I already did. That's one that I can't do right now. Great. It's a waste of 2 loading screens, but it's nothing. I really just wanted to make sure that we weren't like... I'm terrified because we've skipped several weeks that it's gonna try and jump to the next story point. Like, while I'm out and about. Oh, crap. Actually, while we're out and about, speaking of, let's go over to the Lizard Folk Village, because I wanted to check in. Why is there another Kingdom one?
Resting would be nice, don't you think?
We should gather our strength.
It bothers me so much that the minute I decide, hey, I should not sit here and just do this diplomacy stuff this time and go explore, I'm bombarded by diplomacy stuff. I'm hoping that the fact that I found the other one, the other Lizard Folk Village, means that they're going to give me an additional dialogue option here. That's really all I'm hoping for. Nope. Wasted trip. That's fine. By the way, we've got that nice little neutralized poison icon hovering here. Immunity to poison while we're fighting within claimed regions because of the special thing we did. Jode was actually successful at something for once.
I know the way.
By the way, just for the record, you may have noticed that my equipment's moved around a little bit. That is mostly because I wanted to make sure that I was equipping Valerie as efficiently as possible. So I gave her like the Trailblazer's helm that gives that extra bonus against ranged attacks. Instead of Miri. I guess let's make sure this isn't something that's gonna screw me. Events, mysterious weed. Okay.
Resting would be nice, don't you think?
Yes. I do think that would be nice, Lindsay. Mim Wobblegander.
I know.
Wait for Mim to think up another way. Well then. We'll agree to let the guards escort us to Barnhold. I think it doesn't want us to have access to the full region yet, so it just allows an escort so that we can just travel to the capital. Okay.
Follow my lead.
So we're just going to go ahead and explore Barnhold quasi-thoroughly here. Ooh, vegetables. And apparently take things from them because we can. Symbol of Erastil, nice. He only killed villains. Killed by a tree, one less fledgling woodcutter. He never finished that bridge. May Erastil protect you. Nice. Magic Scythe. Potion. Nobody seems to mind the giant wolf running through town. That's always nice. Yeah, I'm assuming there's not actually going to be much in the actual town. Cephal Laurentus. Is that really all he says? Bother Vine with all this. I have to entertain gawkers and layabouts. Okay. You're bleeding Mitra, I lower the price. Ooh. Oh, that is Magervine.
All according to plan.
Oh, nice. My apologies, I meant no offense. Just let that go. We adventurers help each other out, am I right? Glad we see eye to eye. I just couldn't help not paying a visit after, especially after your invitation. Oh, he's the wizard, okay. Okay, so he's basically our storyteller. Much remains to be done. What you see now is just the beginning. It's a shining future. Begin building a track to your capital and establish river trade with Resta. Right now, Dunsword is not particularly welcoming, but I aim to change that. We'll begin clearing the land of creatures, monsters, and Spriggans alike. People must feel safe. Words of a worthy ruler. Planning future conquests, are you? Who knows? Just don't think I'll start off by marching my guard over the mountains to your doorstep. There's plenty of land east for my people to patrol without trespassing on my allies. Peace, peace. They sent fellows like us out to do all their dirty work. You and I share this frontier, Ember, and I'd rather bet on our mutual interest as neighbors than the distant sword lords in their land. Okay. Let's see what he's got. Anything useful? Anything exciting? Interesting? Not really. No. Not gonna bother. Fetch. That is the Heart of Era, where this necklace becomes immune to fatigue and exhaustion. While the aura is activated, creatures adjacent to the creature take 2d6 per round and potentially become fatigued. I'm not sure how I feel about that. It's the same issue I have with Jailthal. I'm gonna be really careful if I put that on because she does not become fatigued. And if they don't get fatigued, then it won't stop because one of your character, or it only stops when all of your characters are fatigued, or forces a stop rather. So basically the my thought is currently I could put it on a Miri and it would prevent her from getting fatigued after Barbarian Rage.
In due time.
But it would also make it so that she can't explore as easily. As another option, which could be just absolutely silly, oh, nice, we can go all the way across. Let's see what's over here. By the way, this next chapter that we're getting to is actually the point where I joined the tabletop campaign that I was playing in effectively. So I'm very excited for that. So yeah, my thoughts are currently to give that necklace to Amiri. She actually has she doesn't have a necklace of, or amulet of natural armor right now either. So it's kind of a double. She does tend to be in the thick of things. So I can like turn this aura on if she's completely surrounded by enemies and they start taking damage every round. I just need to watch to make sure that she doesn't end up, that our party doesn't end up completely exhausted by her not being affected by it. I also have this secondary thought right now of equipping the necklace on Ember and finishing out some exploration with her, because we would never have to stop to camp if it's just one person with that necklace on. Okay, so when we're done, that we just get sent back. And we are fatigued. Camp. Rest. I don't think it would actually be a great idea, because if something did happen, she'd be by herself, and it's not like she's particularly beefy. But on the other hand, it could be a really efficient way to make some further, to explore some of the further reaches of the area. Do I have anything else offhand? I mean, anything else I've got is like way out here. I don't have this claimed yet. I'm thinking, after I claim it, I'm thinking maybe like one of these 2 points on the river would be good. They're not super far from the capital, but they are kind of central to the area. Maybe this one. This one. I don't like that one as much because you can't access it from the north as easily. But yeah, there's a bunch still to the west that I could technically probably explore. We haven't been to the Sunny Hillock yet. But on the other hand, I'm really not super excited about any of this either. I don't really feel like I need to right now, I guess. Okay, let's head back, see what happens. Just do a quick double check to see if there's anything that I feel like I'm missing. Goblin Village, Goblin Forge, Bald Stone, Dragonleaf Gulch. Yeah, I'm like running into like I could go try to fight the Crag Linorm, but I really don't feel like it right now. Or I can go back and do politics. Guess we're heading back for politicking. Totally not putting it off. You can't prove anything. I really like the politicking stuff. I just... I'll be fair and say that I think I would like it better if it had less loading screens. If it was more efficiently laid out, and if I didn't feel like I was being dragged kicking and screaming through it every time. Like, if it had a nice calendar that showed what day it was, when stuff was due, what you have going, that you could like schedule stuff. Like if you could schedule more than one thing to put your, so that you didn't have to like if my guy has 7 days left on a project, currently, as far as I know, I can't set him up for another one to follow up after that project. So if I do a 14-day thing, I can't access, or I can't give him a new command until after that, stuff like that. And generally, just putting all of the towns, like, I don't care about being able to zoom in and see the cool thing on the grid. I want to be able to see a list of all the towns, what buildings are in them, and put new buildings in them without having to go through a loading screen. Because a lot of times, especially right now, I'm only going in to upgrade or add like a single building. Okay, well, I guess we chose the political line. I mean, it's called Kingmaker. I really shouldn't be that surprised. Artisan, has gone missing. Oh. Well, it's a good thing I wasn't literally just right there.
I'm listening. Follow my lead.
Will fail in 13 days. Stop and talk to Storyteller while we're here. We've been walking 10 days. The caravan's owner is swearing and scratching himself. Seems the fat slab got some bad mosquito bites. I think he's regretting his decision to bypass the border guard through a smuggling route. Half the porters have upset stomachs, likely due to drinking water from a stream we found yesterday. Guess there must have been a reason it reeked. I walk in the front, trying to seem respectable and intimidating, otherwise they might realize I'm lost. Trouble really started 3 days ago. I only saw the map once. There's definitely supposed to be just one path here. We found dozens. Only an experienced guide would be able to find the right one. Of course, the caravan owner thinks I'm such a guide. I told him I've been running this route for 10 years, but I know every bush by name. I really needed the money. They won't let me run up my tab anymore. There's a whistle, then hooting from the bushes. Bandits. A dozen of half-ragged, filthy people with rotten teeth and sunken eyes, not much worse than us now, rise from the bushes, their hair and clothes a mess. I raise my spear and scream threateningly, which usually scares off the weaker ones, but not these bandits. They get close. I swing. I stumble. I'm falling, and I hear something crack. Did I break a bone? No, it was the spear. I fell across the shaft. I'm practically sitting on it, and it snapped. And it attacks, his bludgeon spinning overhead. Terrified, I crawl under the cart. Members of our caravan are being slaughtered around me like cattle. It was an evil hour when they chose to trust me. Vu Balak, a sham guide, drunkard, sad coward who inadvertently led them to a bandit ambush. Okay. There was a fragment of cloth. Another scrap of leather. Looks like we get to go out to probably roughly the same area again. We'll just keep this party for the time being. While I appreciate Knock Knock and Tiss for their damage output, I feel like I'm not opposed to keeping Valerie in. Obviously, I was using Knock Knock instead of Valerie for a little while. I'm not opposed to having Valerie in for the sake of this. So there's the silver step. Emma's gone missing. She must be found. Last seen, pack heading for Talon Peak. Oh. First of all, that is a really obnoxious place to go.
I tire.
Resting would be nice, don't you think?
Nice. Apparently I'm out of Galt Ragu. Whoops. Yeah, basically, I feel like, I mean, I basically had 3 characters kind of tagged. Harem. Harem is Harem is okay. I don't generally have a problem with Harem, and I like him as a character. He's fun to interact with because he has very interesting points of view. But he's kind of mediocre both as a healer and as a frontliner. So he's kind of somewhere in between the two and not great at either. I think that in general, I was actually chatting with Kara about this yesterday. Because she's looking at starting the game and trying to decide what character to start. So I was kind of looking at what the actual parties are, like what you have as options. And it basically comes down to there's 4 kind of more frontline-y characters. Okay, well, I'll start by saying I left 3 characters off my list because I really don't care for Jalthel because she has a lot of inherent problems. Starting with she's undead and is really hard to heal. But generally speaking, I just don't feel like she brings a lot to a party in general. I don't feel like Ragongar's generally very good because his skills require a lot of micromanagement to be really effective. And because he has Half-Orc Ferocity, which I have already explained my frustrations with. And I don't like the tieflings terribly. They are fairly oh hey, it's Mim. What are you doing here? I wanted to climb Talon Peak. It was a sudden decision. I just thought, why put it off? Why ask someone for help like I always do? Why can't I just get my wish by myself? After all, I left my father so I could achieve everything on my own. So I decided to climb the mountain alone. Skies above, my pride nearly sent me to my grave. I broke my ankle. I was fighting some spiders and I slipped on a stone and I slipped. I realized that my third wish should be what I need to do. To find my inspiration, I must climb Talon Peak to see the world from that height, rise above it. That's what my soul has been craving. Everyone makes mistakes. Some will either stand and go on. I'm going to climb this mountain no matter what it takes. What about you? Nice. Escort mission start.
I know.
So yeah, like I was saying, when it comes down to it, there's not a ton of party options. There's basically 4 frontliners. And you probably want about 3. And there are 4 backliners, and you probably want about 3. And Ekundayo has this weird thing because he kind of fills both slots because of the fact that he's got the animal companion. So as far as characters go, I feel like Valerie is easily the best defensive frontliner. Knock Knock is the highest damage frontliner. And Amiri is kind of between them in both. And Harim doesn't really do either. He's not particularly beefy as a defensive character, and he's not particularly good as a melee character. He's kind of mediocre at both, and mediocre as a healer. But he fills all those roles. And then the Wolf is kind of a honorary 5th frontliner that you get with Ekundayo. Which is not particularly strong or particularly tanky. Kind of mediocre at both. But now that he's big, he actually does some decent seems like he does a lot better damage, and also, more importantly, he's got that trip effect, which is very strong. And then for backline, obviously, you've got kind of a spread of support and damage. Akondaio is obviously a good backline damage dealer. He's not as strong as some of them, but he's pretty strong overall.
Time to search for the spot to rest.
No foul. Let's do some fish on a stick. Fish on a stick. So yeah. Ooh. Mess up the fish on a stick, and that's not easy DC for him to miss either. Yeah, Akondaio. Lindsay is probably the lowest damage output for the back row, but she's an all-around good support character. I always like to make the reference when you're...
Don't you think?
I really like bards. So one of my just general... We're almost there. One of my general things with bards is count up the number of attacks your party gets in a turn. Every hit that your bard song is on, you did 3 damage. 2 damage, whatever it is. And if that missed by enough that your bard song made it hit, that damage is half yours as well. So from that perspective, Lindsay is pretty good. She's also got some okay healing. Not great, but okay. Tristan started out with really low damage, but he's gotten better because he has lots of fire spells, because Saren Ray. So that goes a long way. And he is easily the best healer in the game. His resources are kind of limited for damage output, but outside of that, pretty solid. And actually, now that he's got some more cleric spells that do damage, nice. Okay. Talk to people. Oh, we get the armor probably. Okay, nice. Oh, Thorn River near the ford. Okay. Oh, we get to pick. Nice. Okay, so if I say I want plate armor, I can potentially get Valerie some armor. Oil of enhancement 2, nice. We're gonna go over here. So yeah, that leaves Octavia, who is actually a really powerful character. I'm aware of this. I had some inhibitions early on, and I do think that she takes a little bit to get going because she has the spellcasting thing. But I've seen how powerful she can be. I'm actually using her in my other playthrough. I just don't feel like I need her in this playthrough because I've got Ember as my main, and I don't need another arcane spellcaster right now. And she can't heal. at all. It is not a thing she does. Mayhem. Two d6 to lawful characters. Okay. Not actually that good for me. And then what am I forgetting? Oh, Jublost. Or in my case, Tis, because I made Tis before I realized Jublost was a character. Who is okay at healing, or Jublost is actually not good at healing unless you take a feat or a special ability. Tis is actually better at healing because she has an ability that lets her cast healing spells on others, but most alchemists can't cast spells on other people. And then bombs. Bombs are very powerful pretty much consistently. Oh, what's the frost +2? Good, that'll sell for a lot. Both of those are actually +3 weapons total, so they should sell for like 8,000-9,000, I think. So yeah, I do like the alchemist build. I actually like Tiss's build better than Jubilost's. And they're pretty good. They're just squishy, and their ammo is very limited. And they don't have, like, if they're not doing their bombs, they're basically on par with Lindsay. So if I have to choose, like, their resources are about on par with, at this point, with Tristian. Which, if I had to choose, again, I'll take the person with the better healing. They do more damage, but Tristian has way better healing. Or I could choose to, since their basic thing is about on par with Lindsay, I could choose either the damage output or the support, and I already have a lot of other damage dealers, so the support is more valuable to me. They were spotted on your lands, near the Numeria border. That's odd, we're a long way from the realm of the Mammoth lands. Exactly. Leaving homeland and heading south where strangers live. The tribes haven't never do this. That's fair. I think she's got like an 8 intelligence. I really hoped I'd never see those ugly faces no more. I walked across Numeria to be as far away from them as I could. Now they follow me. What the hell? So let's visit my old tribe. Let's figure out what they want. So far from their snow. And then we can kick them back. Okay. So yeah. That's kind of the... I think I've got all of them. That's kind of the 9 characters that I feel like are worth using. I do think that the tieflings are actually fairly usable. Once you figure out how the class works. But I'm not sure that they're any better than... They kind of fill the same role, it seems like, as Jubilost or Jubilost / Tristian / Lindsay. Of kind of a hybrid damage dealer / support character with a ranged support, or a ranged hybrid damage support character. And I don't think they're bad. I think there's nothing wrong with it. The cool part with them is actually you can switch characters and refill your HP and get a full roster of, or a full load of their like spell point equivalents back, and get their resources back. Or they each have separate resources like hit points and spells. So you basically have 2 characters for one slot, The problem is that they're not super good at what they do. They kind of fit the same role as like a warlock does in 5th edition, where most of the time they have okay consistent damage, but you only get a couple big bursts per time. Okay, so we want to do Lawbringer, and we want to do 6 bears. Where's the campsite? There's the 6 bears camp. How far is that? 1 day, 3 hours. And we need to go to the Thorn Forge, which is here. So let's go to the Thorn Forge first. It's kind of on the way and heads in the right direction. So yeah, I know that was kind of rambly. I was thinking about it a lot earlier today. So I'm not really sure what the best options are to really fill out your character roster. There are way more chaotic characters than there are lawful characters. There's only 2 lawful characters out of those ones I mentioned. Actually, I think it's out of all of them except for maybe the tieflings. Always bossing me around, saying he was older, do this, don't do that. He was trying to strangle my talent. I'm an adventurer by nature. Adventure lures me. He tells me my passion is nothing but prowling and roguery. I'm a master, he said. Work hard in the family forge, he said. I'm sick to death of forges. I know it's a custom, but it's a stupid one. I want to see the world. So I took my grandfather's armor. There's no use gathering dust like a holy relic. I wanted my chance at glory. I wanted to serve our family honorably one more time. But the whole hero thing didn't exactly work out. I had to sell the armor to feed myself. I swear I was going to buy it back. Gathering my strength, I heard there was a blacksmith named Durgan who was forging some legendary armor. I realized this could be my second chance. I knew I already did him an awful wrong, but if he hadn't hounded me so, I would have become a respectful adventurer, a world traveler, a wealthy man. You're right, I'm ashamed. I dreamt of returning home with wealth and glory so Durgan would see how dumb he was. Now I've embarrassed myself. I can't dare look him in the eye. Turns out I was the fool, not he. You know what? You can take the armor. I'll go to the city and surrender to the guards. I'm tired of running away. There's no point. There's no escaping your own guilt. I'll serve my sentence, and after that I'll lead a different life. Clean one. My brother might even take me back. Nice. So yeah. There's like 7 chaotic characters, I think, 2 lawful characters, and 2 neutral characters or something like that on the Law Chaos scale. And then there's like 4 good characters, 4 neutral characters, and 2 evil characters, or 3 evil characters, something along those lines. Let's do this real quick. So it's fairly easy to have a chaotic good leaning party. The classes that aren't represented seem to be like druid and monk. I feel like these are all just... Oh, nice. Merchants from Absalom, they're ready to do business if their conditions are met. Bandits outrage. A noble in trouble. Oh. Well, apparently I didn't do those in the right order because Mary's the only option on this one. And the other two I actually could have done with different people to have to get all of them going. And I don't have that long before it expires. So hopefully somebody else, or hopefully Mary's thing will finish. Otherwise we're just stuck. So yeah, like Druid and Monk are the main two I can think of offhand that are not really represented at all. Obviously Sorcerer, but you get a Wizard and a Magus. And some other options like you get a lot of arcane casters. It's not it's not really that different. Druids are very different from the other options, and I feel like that's Druids and Monks both. I also feel like there's a lot of good. There are a lot of weird little choices of equipment that they give you. Like the Falcata. Like, what was the other one? You get a couple Elven Curve Blades. Like we just got that comma. Like a +3 comma with a bunch of special effects. So I feel like if you look up what some of that equipment is ahead of time, that could really help shape, like the full plate that can only be worn by good characters that gives a bonus to wisdom and charisma. Like, that's stupidly good and interesting and seems like a good thing. But it's not really usable by any of the characters in the game, so you have to have happened to make a character that works with that. What? It's them again. Whoa.
Let us strike as one. Do not hold back.
This was not what I was expecting from this. Everyone said you were killed by the giants, but I always believed you survived. No one ever found your body. I missed you so much. Stop crying. I'm alive and well. You know nothing can beat me. Here, meet each other. Nilak, this is Baroness Ember. She's something like a new chieftain for me now. Ember, this is Nilak. She's the only decent person in my whole lousy tribe. Don't say that. Yes, the elders were mean to you, but you shouldn't blame the whole tribe. I am Nilak, Songkeeper of the Six Bears. You must be the ruler of these lands. Forgive us for intruding into your domain, but we... Oh, you're Songkeeper now? That's great. Since when? I always wanted to be one. While you were learning to fight, I learned the legends. While you were training with a sword, I trained with a tambourine. But I was initiated during your funeral feast to Mary. Desna whispered to me and told me how I could turn this pain to power. Even the rocks and stones cried over the fallen. They heard my song that night. Okay, Bard. You can tell us what they sing in your tribe, and I'll tell you all about Amiri's feats. Nope. Here comes grizzled old traditionalist. There's the chieftain. You, pariah, freak. After all you did, you've got... Still have the nerve to come and show your ugly face here. Wow. I'm really debating just talking down to him. Everyone had a place, a job to do. Men crafted and went hunting. Women bore children and kept the huts clean. These are the ways set by our ancestors, and we do not change it. When this upstart girl wants to match herself against men, she passed the warrior's initiation. She went hunting. But there is truth in the saying nothing good comes from a woman with a sword. Neighbor tribes laughed at us. Look, there's a second chieftain running the tribe. Soft chieftain, girl chieftain, must be the end of the Six Bears, and they were right. She brought disaster upon our whole tribe. Once a gang of giants came to our land. They scared our prey, attacked our huntsmen, so we decided to deal with them. We sent a group, and she went along. For a long time we waited for this group to return. Then we went searching for them even longer. All we found were dead bodies. Giants killed them all, everyone except for her. Then things got even worse. Have you seen these monsters? Evil spirits? An evil spirit sends them, a ghost of a giant. He's the one who chased us from our lands. He chased us all through all of Numeria. Even now, he's somewhere nearby. Bring the thief to me. Find him, Mary. Brought a curse on our tribe, pariah. Now hand me your weapons and get yourself to the women's hut. That's your place. It always was and always will be. We'll feed you to the ghost and then he'll leave us alone. That's where she got her sword. Nice. That's a good little interaction. Even if that is the correct response. Oh, it's like right there. That's convenient. Let's do some channel energy. Let's do bone shatter just in case it works. I'm not really expecting it to. Oh, she hasn't rested since she had the... Hang on. Let's get some rage. Let's do... Aspect of the Falcon. Bard Song Mirror Image. Haste. Saving throw failed on Bone Shatter. That's really bad for him. Let's toss another channel positive. Never mind. Swiftfoot boots. I'm sorry, I'm probably way more excited about that than I should be. That's it, we're done with your evil spirit. We cut them to pieces and cast them to the wind. No use, he comes back. Mary the Ghost was trying to tell us something. You left me. Thanks to you, I realized that a woman can do something bigger than scraping hides and cooking stew. I hoped you would become chief, and I'd be your advisor, and together we'd change the ways of our tribe. But instead, you disappeared without even saying goodbye. I had nothing left but to become Akaya's advisor, who led this tribe through the whole Numeria. Who do you think? Who negotiated with the other tribes? And who lived in the women's hut all the time, serving dinner to the chieftain? Now we found you. You ruin everything. Oh, burn. Should I go to the Dragon's Maw too? Okay then. Except for we're supposed to like deal with that giant ghost guy, right? He's gonna come back. Okay. Location not available. Okay, we can't go back. Well, I guess let's start back. Oh, nice. Let's pop into Kingdom real quick, just to see if there's any chance of us getting that last piece done. And then I'm gonna wrap this video up because it's probably significantly longer than I'm realizing. Okay, so we need that one, which is 4 days, which might be fine. Okay, so the short version of this is I can't go do the 14-day thing right now. I need to kill 4 more days. So, we're just going to save right here. So, with that, hopefully you're enjoying still. If you are, please give me a like and subscribe. Check out the other content on my channel. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comments. And as always, have a good one.